He had been watching her for 11 months, not suspiciously, with the specific attention of someone who had decided that this was the person and who was finding, in the finding, the particular confirmation that came from watching someone in ordinary circumstances rather than extraordinary ones. Caroline Ashford was extraordinary in extraordinary circumstances. She was also extraordinary in ordinary ones. Or so he had believed. He had been wrong about this. He understood this now. Standing in the corridor outside the kitchen of his own house, at 7 in the morning on a Tuesday in March, listening to his fiancée say something to a 2-year-old child that he would never be able to unhear. The child's name was Lily. She belonged to Rosa, the housekeeper who had been with the house for 3 years, and who was currently in the garden cutting flowers for the morning arrangement. As she did every Tuesday, Lily had wandered into the kitchen. 2 years old, dark curls, the specific energy of someone for whom the world was primarily a source of delight, and who had not yet learned that not all spaces were equally welcoming. She had picked up a small vase from the kitchen counter. Caroline had turned. She had looked at the child. She had looked at the vase. And she had said it. Not loudly, quietly, in the specific quiet of someone who believed they were not being heard by anyone who mattered. "Get out of my house." To a 2-year-old. "You do not belong here. Go find your mother. People like you should not be in rooms like this." The child looked at her. She put down the vase. Very carefully. The way a 2-year-old puts something down when they understand, without having words for the understanding, that they have done something wrong without knowing what it was. James Whitfield stood in the corridor. He had come downstairs for coffee. He had heard everything. He looked at Lily putting down the vase with the careful hands of a child who was trying to be good in a room that had just told her she didn't belong. And something ended in him. Not dramatically, the specific quiet ending of something that had been built on a foundation he had not examined, and had just examined and found wrong. Stay with me. Because what James does in the next 60 seconds, and what he discovers about Lily in the weeks that follow, is going to change everything you think you know about what was really happening in that house for 3 years. His name was James Whitfield. He was 44 years old and had been, for 11 of those months, had been engaged in the specific way of someone who had decided carefully and who had found, in the deciding, the particular relief of someone who had been waiting to decide for a long time and had finally done it. Caroline Ashford was 36. She was accomplished, the specific accomplishment of someone who moved through the world with the practiced ease of someone who had always had what they needed, and who had learned to present this ease as charm rather than entitlement. She was beautiful. She was interesting in company. She had the particular quality of someone who knew what was expected of them in any room, and delivered it without apparent effort. He had met her at a foundation dinner. She had sat beside him and had been, for 3 hours, the most engaging person he had spoken to in months. He had called her the following week. They had been together for 14 months. Before the engagement, 25 months total, he had thought he knew her. He had been watching her for 11 months of those 25, watching in the specific attentive way of someone who understood that the person you chose was the choice you were making, and that choices required information. He had gathered information. He had believed the information was complete. He had been wrong. Her name was Rosa Maid'Stoddler. She was 32 years old and had been, for 3 of those years, The housekeeper at the Whitfield house had come when the previous housekeeper retired and had stayed because the work was good and the house was well maintained, and James Whitfield was, as employers went, the specific kind who understood that the people who worked in his house were people and who treated them accordingly. She had Lily at 30, not planned, or not in the way that planning usually preceded things. Lily had arrived with the particular completeness of someone who had been expected in a different shape and had come in the shape they were always going to come in, and Rosa had adjusted and had found, in the adjusting, that adjustment was not the right word for what had happened. What had happened was that Lily had arrived and Rosa had understood what the world was for. The father, she did not discuss this. Not because it was dramatic. It was not dramatic. Was simply complicated in the specific way of things that happen between people who had not planned for them to happen and who had then been unable to locate each other when the happening became relevant. She had been in the garden on the Tuesday morning, cutting flowers, the specific Tuesday morning task she had done every week for 3 years. She had left Lily in the kitchen. The kitchen was safe. Lily knew the kitchen. The kitchen was the room Lily was most comfortable in because it was the room where Rosa spent most of her time. She had not known Caroline was in the house. Caroline was supposed to be at a breakfast meeting until 9. She had come back early. He had heard everything. Not because he had been listening. He had been walking downstairs for coffee with the specific ordinary purpose of someone whose morning had not yet acquired significance. He had heard a voice from the kitchen and had slowed and had understood as he listened that what he was hearing was not the voice Caroline used when she believed someone important was listening. It was the other voice. He had not known there was another voice. There was another voice. He stood in the corridor until she finished. He counted the seconds, not because counting helped, because he needed something to do with the specific feeling that was arriving in his chest, and that he did not yet have a name for, but that was, he understood, the feeling that preceded the end of something. Lily put the vase down carefully. She looked at her hands, the specific look of a 2-year-old who has been told something they do not have words for, and whose body is registering it before their mind can. James stepped into the kitchen. Caroline looked up. She saw his face. The specific seeing of someone who was just understood that they were heard by someone they did not intend to hear. James, he looked at Lily. "Come here," he said to Lily, gently. The specific gentleness of someone who understood that the next few minutes required managing, and that the first thing to manage was the 2-year-old. Lily looked at him. She came to him. He crouched to her level. "Did you put the vase back?" he said. "Yes," Lily said. Very carefully, he said. "Yes," she said. "Good," he said. "Let's go find your mama." He took her hand. He walked her to the garden door. Rosa was coming up the path with the flowers. She saw James's face. She saw Lily's face. She understood, in the specific way of someone who had been paying attention for 3 years, that something had happened. "I'll explain later," James said. "Are you all right?" "Lily?" "Yes," Lily said. She went to Rosa. James went back to the kitchen. Caroline was at the counter. She had the specific posture of someone who had decided on an approach and was implementing it. The particular managed calm of someone who understood that what had just happened required a response and had selected the response. "James, I want to explain." "No," he said. "What you heard, I heard everything, he said. From the corridor. I heard everything from the beginning. She looked at him. She was touching things she shouldn't. She is 2 years old, he said. She picked up a vase. She put it back when you told her to. Carefully. James, she put it back carefully, he said again. A 2-year-old. And you told her that people like her shouldn't be in rooms like this. Caroline was quiet. I was frustrated, she said. I'd had a difficult morning and I took it out on a 2-year-old, he said. Yes, she said. I know. I shouldn't have. He looked at the kitchen he had lived in for 12 years, that Rosa had maintained for 3 of them, that Lily had been coming into since she could walk. Caroline, he said, single quotes, yes. How long? He said. She looked at him. What do you mean? How long? He said. Have you been this way when you believed I wasn't listening? She was very still. That's not fair, she said. I'm asking, he said, because I have been watching you for 11 months. Carefully, the way I watch everything I'm going to make a significant decision about. He held her gaze. And I didn't see this. Because it isn't. I didn't see it, he said. Because it only appears when you believe nobody important is watching. And I have spent 11 months being the person you believed was watching. She looked at her hands. James, she said, people say things in difficult moments. It doesn't mean the ring, he said. She looked up. Leave the ring on the counter, he said. When you leave, James, I'll have the rest of your things sent, he said. I'll be in my study. He went to his study. He sat at his desk. He sat there for a long time without doing anything. She came at noon. He had asked her, through Mrs. Collins, who managed the household schedule, and who had the particular quality of someone who understood everything and disclosed nothing, to come when she had a moment. She came with Lily, which she had not asked but which he understood. He crouched to Lily's level in the doorway. Hello, he said. Hello, Lily said. She looked at him with the particular assessment of 2-year-olds, the specific direct appraisal of someone for whom social convention had not yet replaced honest reaction. Are you all right? He said. Yes, she said. She held up a small toy. This is Thomas. Hello, Thomas, he said. Lily appeared satisfied. Rosa took her to the sitting room with Mrs. Collins and came back. She sat across from James. I'm sorry, he said, for what happened this morning. Rosa looked at her hands. It wasn't the first time, she said. He was very still. Rosa, not with Lily, she said quickly. Not like this morning, but there were comments. When you weren't there, the way she spoke to me, the specific things she said about the work. She paused. I didn't say anything because it was not my place and because you seemed. She stopped. Happy, he said. Yes, she said. I wasn't seeing clearly, he said. You were seeing what she showed you, Rosa said. That's not the same thing. He looked at the window. Rosa, he said. Single quotes, yes. Lily's father, he said. You never speak about him. She was quiet. No, she said. Is there a reason? He doesn't know, she said. James looked at her. He doesn't know about Lily, he said. No, she said. We lost contact. Before I knew. By the time I understood what was happening, I couldn't find him. Did you try? He said. Yes, she said. For a long time. He was quiet for a moment. Rosa, he said. When was Lily born? She looked at him. She said the date. James Whitfield looked at the calendar on his wall. He looked at Rosa. He did the arithmetic that he had not known until this moment, that there was arithmetic to do. 3 years ago, he said. Yes, she said. We met, he said, 3 years and 4 months ago, at the Henderson event. Rosa was very still. Yes, she said. And then you came to work here, he said, when Mrs. Park retired 6 months later. Yes, she said. Rosa, he said. James, she said, quietly. Lily's eyes, he said. I've been looking at them for 3 years and I didn't. He stopped. They're my mother's eyes. Rosa looked at her hands. Yes, she said. She had not planned to tell him. She had planned, in the specific patient way of someone who had been carrying something for 3 years and had become practiced at carrying it, to continue not telling him. Not because she was afraid, because she had understood. When she had taken the position 3 years ago and had seen him for the first time since the Henderson event, that telling him would change everything, and that changing everything required a specific kind of courage that she was not certain she had. She had taken the position because she needed work, and the position was available. She had not known, when she applied, whose house it was. She had understood, when she arrived, that this was the specific kind of coincidence that required a decision. She had decided to stay. She had decided not to tell him. She had spent 3 years carrying it. I should have told you, she said. I know. Yes, he said. I was afraid, she said. Not of you. Of what it would mean. Of whether you would believe me. Of whether Lily would. She stopped. I wanted her to have a life that was hers. Not a life that was complicated by something I hadn't planned. She has a right to know her father, he said. Yes, she said. I know. And I have, he said, a right to know my daughter. She looked at him. Yes, she said. 3 years, he said. I know, she said. I have been living in the same house, he said, as my daughter, for 3 years. Without knowing. Yes, she said. He was quiet for a long time. Is she happy? He said. Rosa looked at him. Very, she said. She is the happiest person I have ever known. You did that, he said. Yes, she said. Alone, he said. Yes, she said. He looked at the window. Rosa, he said. Single quotes, yes. I'm going to need some time, he said, to understand what this means and what comes next. I know, she said. But I want you to know, he said, that whatever comes next, Lily is not going to grow up without her father knowing who she is. Rosa looked at her hands. Thank you, she said. Don't thank me, he said. I'm her father. He met Lily properly on a Saturday, not in the house, in the garden, which was Lily's preferred territory, the specific outdoor space of someone for whom the world was best when it could be explored freely. He sat on the bench. Lily came to him with Thomas, the small toy, whose biography he had been acquiring in pieces over the past 2 weeks, through the particular narrative style of a 2-year-old, who communicated in fragments and expected you to assemble them. Thomas has a hat, Lily said. I can see, James said. It's blue, she said. Yes, he said. I see that. She climbed onto the bench beside him with the specific authority of someone who had decided. This was where she was sitting. Are you Mama's friend? She said. He looked at Rosa, who was at the far end of the garden and was not, he noted, close enough to have heard. Yes, he said, I am. Mama has lots of friends, Lily said. Mrs. Collins is her friend, and Santos, and the lady with the red coat. That's a good thing, he said. Yes, Lily said. She looked at Thomas. Thomas doesn't have lots of friends. He has me. That's enough, James said. One person who is really there is better than many who aren't. Lily looked at him with the assessment. Yes, she said. Mama says that too. He looked at the garden, at Rosa at the far end, at Lily beside him with her toy, at the Saturday morning that was, he thought, the most important Saturday of his life. Lily, he said. Yes. I'm going to be around more, he said. If that's all right. She considered this with the seriousness she brought to important questions. Can you fix things? She said. Some things, he said. Why? The swing is broken, she said. Mama said she would ask someone. I'll fix the swing, he said. Today, she said. Today, he said. She appeared satisfied. She held out Thomas. You can hold him, she said, while you fix it. He took Thomas. He held him carefully. He thought, this is what I nearly missed. He fixed the swing. Not alone. He had not fixed a swing before, and it required more than he had anticipated. And Rosa had come with tools, and had shown him what needed doing. With the specific competence of someone who had been fixing things alone for 3 years. They worked together, not speaking much, the particular companionable quiet of two people who had things to say, and who understood that the things required time rather than rushing. Lily supervised. She provided commentary, evaluation, and Thomas's opinion when requested. Is it fixed? She said. Almost, Rosa said. Thomas thinks it's fixed, Lily said. Thomas may be optimistic, James said. What's opti-miss-tick? Lily said. It means, James said, believing things will be good before you're sure. Oh, Lily said. She thought about this. I'm opti-miss-tick. Yes, James said. I can tell. Is that good? She said. Very, he said. The swing was fixed. Lily tested it, the specific comprehensive testing of someone for whom the proof of a thing was in its use, and pronounced it adequate. Rosa looked at James. James, she said. Yes. What do you want? She said. Going forward, I need to know what you want so I can understand what this is. He looked at the swing. He looked at Lily on the swing. He looked at Rosa. I want, he said, to know my daughter every Saturday. More than Saturdays eventually, if that's what makes sense. I want her to know who I am, and I want to be the person worth knowing. He held her gaze. And I want, if you're willing, to understand what happened 3 years ago between two people who lost track of each other properly, without the house and the position and all the things that have been between us. Rosa looked at him. That's a lot, she said. Yes, he said. Start with Saturdays, she said. Yes, he said. And the swing, she said. You fix the swing, Thomas supervised, he said. She almost smiled. Yes, she said. He does that. He had been watching her for 11 months. He thought he knew her. He was wrong. On a Tuesday morning at 7 in the morning, a 2-year-old picked up a vase. She put it back, carefully, and a woman said, "Get out of my house. People like you should not be in rooms like this." To a 2-year-old, he heard everything. From the corridor, here is what we learned. People show you who they are when they believe nobody important is watching. He had been the person she believed was watching. She had been extraordinary when he was watching, and something else entirely when she thought he was not. The 2-year-old put the vase back carefully, because she was being good in a room that had just told her she didn't belong. And the man in the corridor understood in that moment everything he needed to understand. Not just about Caroline, about Lily, about Rosa, about the 3 years he had spent in the same house as his daughter without knowing. He fixed the swing on a Saturday. Thomas supervised. Some things cannot be unfixed once broken. And some things can be fixed if you show up with the right tools. And someone who knows what needs doing. Show up. Fix the swing. That is everything.